Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Nicole, and today we're going to do an April garden tour. When did it become April? You know, on April 1st is April Fool's Day, and I didn't do it that day because I didn't want you guys to think, what? Is she pulling her leg? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a garden tour. The weather around here has been obnoxiously crazy. Yesterday, the wind was blowing 900,000 miles an hour. The day before, the wind was blowing even worse. Friday, when on March 31st, I was sitting in my husband's truck, which is a 1-ton pickup, which means heavy duty, weighs a lot. I thought I was going to get blown over. Like, that's how bad the wind has been around here. So, it's been exciting for... There's the light. It's been exciting, to say the least. Let's do a real quick garden tour. I've got some updates to share with you, and let's see what's happened. Okay. It's sunny out. So I did a little plant evicting. Onions and shallots here, and they actually were starting to bring in some weird bugs, and I didn't want bugs in my house. Now, I do have a bug guy that comes and sprays once a month, mainly just to make sure we don't get bugs. But at the same time, like I said, I was starting to get some weird bugs, so I wasn't totally digging it. I did some plant evicting. My rosemary here, if you remember here just recently, I planted this entire thing to rosemary, not doing good. Like, for some reason, I cannot seem to grow rosemary, and I don't know why. This whole thing was to rosemary. It was a whole seed packet. I have one here, two here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and one there. Oh, there's another little one coming up right there. Otherwise, they're not doing well, and even at that, they're not doing very well. I have slow bolt cilantro. Terrible, terrible. Dish and good. So I don't know what's happened. I don't know why it went terrible. It looks a little dry today, but I don't know what happened. Here are my tomatoes. They're ready to be up potted, or maybe even just put into 7-ounce pots or something. Not ounce. Oh, good golly. 7-gallon. Wow, there's a big difference between an ounce and a gallon. I believe there's 64 ounces in a gallon. Anyway, so these are ready to have something done with them to get them out of there so that they don't become root bound. This was all planted to rosemary as well. I have one little rosemary thing that's not doing well. This is sage, all but one, not doing well. The Italian basil, it didn't get watered when we went on vacation a few weeks ago, I guess. And yeah, I don't know what happened to it. Then we have the plain parsley. It's doing pretty well. Our cilantro is non-existent. Back there we have chives that just aren't doing very well. We have that is arugula. The arugula is doing fairly well. I need to go ahead and get it planted outside. And then we have some spinach. And then I evicted the mustards, the collards, and I believe the third one that was in there just wasn't doing anything. So I evicted those yesterday. So we'll just have to see what happens, right? So the last couple of years, my naked ladies here, I think they also have another name, but everybody calls them naked ladies, so that's what I'm going with. They haven't actually been here because I can't remember if it was last year or if it was 2021, but we came in and we put our electric into our house underground, the electric line underground. So there used to be a pole kind of right there, and when they came in, the pole for our house, like, we have this monstrosity of a thing back here by our camper, and that's where our lines go for our electric, and then it comes in and goes underneath my driveway, and it goes to the house, to the barn, and to our garage. So it's not real pretty, and right now the monstrosity of a camper is hiding it. But anyway, when they came in and they did, whoops, I don't want to step on them, all the electrical work for our power, I thought they killed my naked ladies. And we actually, as you can see, have dumped some gravel on them, and they're still coming back. So that's exciting. Last year, I think I saw the greens, but I never actually saw flowers come up. And as you can tell, somebody threw a pallet on my naked ladies. So that's not cool, but I don't want to move it just yet. I've had to back out of my driveway. I have a pull-through driveway, but I've had to back out here quite a bit lately, and you can actually see my tire tracks over there. I don't know why, but you can. Ground's been a little saturated, and I guess I just kind of sunk. But anyway, I have made it a point not to back over my naked ladies, because I would love for them to go ahead and flower. On the side of my house here, if you remember, you can look back in previous garden videos if you didn't remember, I have 3 mums planted. One in this area here, and I'm not sure, like all of my mums have this green stuff that is coming up around the base of them, even the one that I planted in 2020 that comes back every year. So I'm not sure if that's part of the mum, or if it just happens to be a weed that apparently grows at the base of all mums. So I have not pulled that particular weed, simply because I don't know what to do. I do have weeds. I have been going around and weeding. This is where the second mum was planted. I've got some weird, it's almost like mold or mushrooms or fungus. I don't know. But I have some of this kind of everywhere. In fact, I have some right there. And then, of course, my third mum, no, that is a hibiscus. My third mum must be planted kind of right there. And then my hibiscus will come up here if it comes up. I'm not sure if it will or not. We'll just have to wait and see. I think it's been too cold for the hibiscus, because one day, welcome to Missouri weather. One day today is supposed to be 82, I think, for a high, and Wednesday is supposed to be a high of 56. So we don't know what we are. There was a mum planted here. I've gone ahead and cut him back. One planted here, and one planted right here where all this green is. Again, I do still have weeds, and I have addressed that issue in some places, but not fully. I have that weeded. Of course, this is my rose bush, and I don't see a whole lot going on the rose bush yet, but again, our weather's been kind of wonky, and so I'm not worried about the rose bush just yet. I think I actually need to trim him back, but I don't know enough about roses to know that, so I haven't actually touched the rose. I had a mum planted right here, I believe. No? That was something that was planted there last year, I guess. Let's see what it is. Oh, a garden mum. So it is a mum. I just didn't realize I had a tag with any of my mums. I forgot about that. I do have weeds, and as you can tell, I haven't gotten out here and totally weeded this area, but I have been working on it, and you will see that eventually. Over here, 2 years ago, in the fall, I planted 50 tulips, and I have 2 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 down there, and that's all that came back of my 50 tulips. That's really sad. Last year, I think I had 48 of them, 46 or 48. My Arctic Fire dogwood is actually starting to put on leaves. Oh, come on. I can't get its focus and I can't see. Haha, there we go. So we're actually starting to put on leaves here. This was planted to lavender and some black-eyed Susans. I have green in there, but I'm not really sure what the green is. Unfortunately, it could be weeds, or it actually could be something that was planted in there, and I don't know. Over here was another mum. See, it has the same green in it, so it makes me wonder if it's not part of the mum. It kind of looks like mum leaves, but I'm not really sure. So anyway, otherwise, this whole thing was planted to annuals last year, so there won't be anything coming back in it. I got these cleaned out. I don't remember if they were cleaned out on our last garden tour or not. Sun is not being nice to this video. It goes behind a cloud and then it comes out, and then it goes behind a cloud, and the video's not compensating for that. I have something planted there. Unfortunately, I don't remember what it is. There were a bunch of weeds around it, and I did pull those weeds the other day, and it's kind of wonky now. This also is a perennial. It comes back every year, and again, there were a bunch of weeds, and you can still see some of the weeds around it, so it's not doing as well. This was a hyacinth that already came up, bloomed, and now is dying back. It was beautiful. I should have taken a picture or a video or something just to prove. We do have weeds. There was a mum planted here. Oh, that's my big, that's where I'm at. That's my huge mum. And again, it's got those green leaves, which makes me think that it's part of the mum. Then we had a mum planted in this container, which I don't know if it is actually a perennial or if it's an annual mum. So I'm interested to see if it will come back. There was also one planted in this planter. And now, as you can see, I have been out here weeding. My back and legs and arm muscles and everything else were killing me over the weekend because I had been out here pulling weeds and found mussels I forgot I had. Now, there was a mum planted in this container here, and I got it trimmed back, and then there was one planted kind of right there, and I have it trimmed back. This was also a hyacinth that has come and gone. And then my rose bush, I whacked the holy daylights out of it, which maybe I shouldn't have done. I don't know, but I do see some green growth in there, so I wasn't too worried about it. And I hate to say it, but if I killed it, well, I will replace it. But it was growing into the side of my house. There's some of the remnants of it growing into the house. The shutter is going to come off, as is the siding. We're going to get that replaced this year, and actually we have some interesting thoughts in the process, in the works, plans in the works. I think we're going to add on to our house, because apparently my husband and I just don't know how to not do anything. Isn't my yard pretty? Actually, it looks like crap. Most of this is weeds, not grass, and it just looks terrible, and I can't stand the terrible. It drives me nuts. So I came in yesterday and I planted, the wind is really blowing, and I hope you can hear me over the wind. I don't know. I came in and I planted 50 pounds of Kentucky 31 fescue because it's supposed to do really well as grass, as well as in my area, and I heavily seeded my yard. So we started this flower bed in the fall, and the one thing about planting bulbs in the fall for spring is you just don't know if they're actually going to do anything. So here is finally evidential proof that what my oldest and I did is actually doing something. I still don't know what these wispy greens are. I cannot remember. I need to find the pictures of all the flowers that we planted in these flower beds so that maybe I can narrow it down and see what they might be. But we do have tulips in here. I've got more tulips right there that look like they're going to come on. I had hyacinths that have already come and gone, and they were beautiful. There's a hyacinth over there. It actually turned out really well. We do have weeds that I need to come in and take care of. That's how I feel about weeds. I hate weeds. But we actually did do pretty well. I also came in and I trimmed back all 6 of the mums that we planted in here in the fall. I have some dahlias that are supposed to be summer bulbs that I'm going to come in and plant, and I need to get that done before all of my spring plants go away so that I don't either dig one up or plant on the top of. But I think these flower beds turned out so well. Now this one did a whole lot better than the one over here. The one over here did fairly well, but it's just not, it's fighting the trees, I think, a little bit, maybe for some water. That's all I can gather, because they were planted in the same type of soil, in the same conditions, on the same day. My oldest was very meticulous about where she planted everything, whereas I was getting tired and was chucking things. And when I mean I was checking things, I'd grab a handful of, say, the hyacinths here and chuck them, and wherever they landed, because I was sitting in the grass, wherever they landed, I would kind of plant them together. She spread hers out, I clustered mine. So it's just the difference in the way she and I planted. But we also had 6 mums in here, and again, more green down here where I trimmed back that mum. So it makes me wonder if that's not part of the mum. I don't know. And then over in hers, we planted 3 bearded lady irises in both of these patches. All 3 of hers have come up. I have one that came up there, one that is coming up, and I don't know where my 3rd one is. So my 3rd one may not do anything, which is really sad because I love bearded lady irises. So now we are down here at the vegetable garden, and I planted some bulbs down here. They are the same bulbs up there that are like up there, that are the tall things that I don't know what they are. So, like I said, I need to go and find the pictures that I took and see if I cannot figure out what I planted, because I'm curious. But I have 4 of them. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I forgot that I had planted some mums down here, and I'm so sorry that the traffic is so loud. Again, it's due to the weather that we've been having, because our traffic's not usually this loud, except on windy days when the wind is coming from the south or the southwest, and then it blows that sound in like crazy. So, bear with me. I went to the flower store and decided to buy a couple of perennials. This one here is an ice plant that is purple, and that one over there it starts out orange and fades to pink. I thought they were beautiful. They are perennials, so if they take, they should come back. And then up in the wheelbarrow, we have, this is a TikTok blue, Duman orange, Calabrocha? I don't know. It's really pretty. And then we planted a Tango White Splash. I don't know what this is. Mounded Zonal Geranium. There you go. It's a geranium. It's getting ready to flower, but it hasn't flowered yet. I need to pull a few more of the weeds out from last year's perennials, and I need to add a little bit more soil to my wheelbarrow It looks like it's just kind of slid out or settled, whichever. But I went ahead and I put some early spring perennials in there just to kind of add a pop of color. Otherwise, all of my pots around here are just empty. If there were weeds, I pulled them out. You can see I have been weeding. I just threw them over in my yard, mainly because it feeds my yard. So I don't have anything growing in here except for one asparagus. Oh, and then I did put my shallots in this. I do not have high hopes for the Zabroon shallots. I may have planted my onions and stuff out too early. Maybe I should have moved them to my garden shed. It is just something that I'm going to learn. We'll figure out if I did it right or wrong. These are my Spanish sweet onions. These are the long day onions that may or may not grow in my area because I am in an intermediate zone, closer to the short day, but I am in an intermediate zone, so it might work. I left my garden rake in the middle of the garden because why not? Okay. My garlic is doing really well. I did come in and I weeded the heck out of it. There may still be a few weeds because, you know, you can't get everything. Like there's one right here. But I did everything I could to get all the weeds out of the garlic bed because they are a bulbous, they're down under the ground and you don't want them fighting for space, room, water, nutrients, whatever. Oh, hello. This was the tomato bed from last year. It has not been weeded, although I did start. Maybe you can see better. I did start, but it's a little more than what I had for yesterday after everything else that I had done. I started working on weeding the strawberry patch. It does look like I have a few strawberries that have come back, so that's exciting. Not as many as what I have planted, but still it does look like I had some that came back. These are empty. That still needs to be weeded, obviously. That still needs to be weeded, obviously. I did start weeding on this, although it wasn't terrible. But mainly I did the other end. This obviously still needs work. I did weed on that. That's where I usually plant my mums. That is empty. I planted my Australian brown onions, I believe they're called. Whatever the short day onions that I bought, or intermediate day, I did plant them in that bed. I added more soil to it. Again, I may have planted my onions out a little too soon, simply because they were pretty small, and I wasn't sure when to plant them out. That might have been a bad thing, I don't know. That is empty. Okay, this bed here, and this bed here are planted to potatoes. Potatoes were supposed to be planted based off my great-grandpa's recommendations on St. Patrick's Day. I planted them on 3/19. I was a couple days late. It happens. This is an empty bed, but I have weeded it, so that's exciting. My collards, the one fennel that I evicted, that only one fennel, and then the mustards, although like I said, I think the mustards have bolted, so that was probably pointless to plant them out anyway, but they're planted. And then this bed here needs to be weeded and really cleaned because it's got all the leaves and acorns and everything. I have not touched this bed at all. All of these flowers right here were actually from the house that we tore down in October of 2020, and they have survived even me tilling this up 2 or 3 years in a row now. The funny thing is, they've moved because they were kind of more over there, and now they're here. I've got a patch over there, and then I have all these right here that basically are the edge of the garden. They have already come and gone, as you can tell, like right there, maybe. This garden is still in the works. I still plan on doing something with it. I have not started working on it. So yeah, this was the carryover tomatoes last year, the garden, and then everything else was just kind of let be. We'll have to see, but it's obviously, as you can see, it's all gone to weed. It is not grass. This used to be a luscious grass. It is just weed. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. There is the basset hound that you hear in a lot of the background of my videos. She thinks she's going to catch a squirrel. I have news for her. She's slow. They are not really part of the garden, but the chickens are not doing their upkeep. They are not producing eggs. In the last 2 weeks, out of 15 chickens, I have only gotten 10 eggs. And chickens are supposed to lay 1 egg every 26 hours. So the little turkeys better up their game. So I have finally started using the garden shed. It's kind of gotten warm enough to at least get by. I have a bunch of starts. This is primarily marigolds and zinnias. So they're doing very well. I'm very happy. Let's keep them going because I love my zinnias. These are a random smattering of a lot of things, but again, still doing fairly well. And this is another random smattering of things. I have a video of starting them that I plan on putting up if it's not already up, so you can see everything that I have planted thus far. So we have been busy at our house. Like my trail of water here? Let me show you what is creating said trail of water. And look what we have. Little duckies and little chickens. There are 7 ducks. 16 chickens, I believe. These guys have been at our house for a little over a week now. I finally agreed to ducks. I wasn't going to, but my oldest has been on me for about 3 years now, 4 years. She wants to name them Quacky Chan, James Pond, and I forget her third choice. My littlest gets to name 3, and I named the 7th one Duck. Do I know what any of them are? Not a clue. We don't even know if we have males or females because we just bought them all together. So that'll be interesting to see. Same way with the chickens. I do not want roosters. Do not. So we may be getting rid of some roosters. Anybody interested in a rooster? If I have one, I'll sell it to you. Otherwise, we did buy a bunch of little chickens and ducks. They like to play in the water, and therefore the tank has a hole in the bottom. This is why we don't use it as a stock tank, and it has leaked on my floor and gone underneath my deep freeze and gone all the way over here and pooled. So this is why I have water in my garage floor. Thank you for joining me today on this garden tour in April. I can't believe it's April. This week is Easter. Like, where has the year gone? Yes, I'm that person. But it is kind of crazy to think that we're already at April. I thought we were in January. This year is flying by. I can't wait to show you more progress in the garden and more updates. So be sure, if you haven't, to go ahead and subscribe on the link down below. Give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with your friends. Leave me a comment and tell me anything you think that I should be growing. I have not started my vegetables. Shh, don't tell. I'm a little bit behind on that, but I will get them going this week, and we will see you next time.